welcome to another interesting edition of the Market Review, where we bring you key developments in the financial and capital market as it relates to the economy. It's a period of looking at value from the market, and today we'll be discussing the 2021 dividend payments and the opportunity for more earnings for Nigerians. With me to have this conversation is Mr. Charles Fakrogha, Chief Operating Officer, Supra Commercial Trust Limited. Nice to have you on the program once again, Mr. Charles Fakrogha.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you. Before we begin our conversation, let's give you a wrap-up of what happened in the capital market from last week. First, Lagos State government signed a memorandum of understanding with the partners of the Nigerian Green Bond Development Program, the FMDQ Holdings PLC, and also the Financial Sector Deepening Africa, FSD, to facilitate the issuance of the maiden 25 billion naira Lagos State Green Bond and other sustainability-linked debt securities towards achieving the Global Sustainable Development Goals. Still from Lagos State, it was a busy last week in the markets. The Lagos Free Zone Company announced the successful issuance of 10.5 billion naira 20-year Series 1 Senior Guaranteed Fixed Rate Corporate Infrastructure Bond due 2041 under a 50 billion naira debt issuance program in the market. Also, Access Bank PLC announced the successful pricing of a $500 million senior unsecured Eurobond. The offering achieved the lowest in terms of Nigerian bank Eurobond coupon, supported by an over 3 times oversubscribed order book of over $1.6 billion. This represents the largest order book even for a Nigerian bank Eurobond transaction. And of course, for our conversation today, the Nigerian Exchange Limited investors earned over 700 billion naira from dividend payouts by companies listed on the Nigeria Exchange Limited. So far, 58 companies across 10 sectors of quoted companies on the Nigeria Exchange have paid out 732 billion, 915 million, 168,509.29. And this is broken down as follows: financial services 21, consumer goods 7, industrial goods 6, oil and gas 5, healthcare 4, services 4, ICT 3, natural resources 2, construction real estate 2, agriculture 2, and conglomerates 2. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll go on full stretch of this conversation.
The Proshare mobile app, your non-stop access to financial and economic information. With the Proshare app, you can customize your preferred news and videos. You can also get access to latest financial and economic news. Watch videos related to business, economy, financial markets, and lots more. The Proshare app gives you in-depth market stats from the NSE, FMDQ, and NASD. That's not all. You also get real-time alerts. The Proshare mobile app. Information at your pace and in your space.
So let's begin with the report that we have, looking at the dividend payout of over 700 billion naira by various quoted companies. A very good development. And various sectors were involved in this, like we earlier stated. Financial services led with 21, consumer goods followed with 7, industrial goods followed with 6, and we saw oil and gas with 5, healthcare 4, services 4, ICT 3, natural resources 2, construction real estate 2, agriculture 2, and conglomerates 2. So let's look at these interesting developments of payment of dividends from these various sectors. What's your key takeaway from this report from the Nigeria Exchange Limited?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yes, we as players and operators in the market, we were not surprised when that report came out, because we've also noticed and we have known over time that most of these companies that are listed on the NGX platform are contributing their own quota to economic development. They're also very responsible citizens in terms of their corporate social responsibility, in terms of how they take care of all the various stakeholders that they are attending to. We know they pay their tax regularly because that is part of why they are listed. We know they take care of their staff very well, and when they operate, they take care of the environment. So paying out dividend to providers of funds did not come to us as a surprise, because over time, these companies have shown that they are really leaders in the various sectors they are operating. Now, looking at the reports, you can see that the financial service sector had the highest. And which goes to show that these companies have a regard for the environment in which they operate. They have a regard for the people who they have employed to work for them. They also have a regard for the providers of capital. And that is why we are seeing this dividend they are paying to the shareholders.
This is a very good development, like you said. So, I mean, based on this, you said financial services, we need to see a more diversified market. The financial services continue to dominate. And how can we achieve this diversified market whereby other sectors are bringing in more companies that are creating value and paying dividend?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it has been a concern for operators and even regulators to see how we can deepen the market. Investors can have a lot of choices, that they can make informed decision on. Yes, our economy is still developing. There are certain sectors of the economy that are still very informal. And gradually with time, a lot of work is being going on. Let's take the fintech space. We don't even have a sector for fintech. Even looking at the technology, we don't even have an index for technology. Okay, so it is because we are just evolving, we are just developing. The only few technology companies we have, telecom that we have in the market is just MTN, Airtel. We cannot create an index for them that can monitor their performance very well as a sector, as an industry. So we believe that as time goes on, the operators, the regulators will come up with a lot of innovations and boost investors' confidence that will encourage more investors to come to the market, and operators of these other industries will also attract them to come to the market. Yes, we cannot continue to allow the financial sector or the industrial sector to dominate the market. We need other sectors to also come to the market, and this has to do with a lot of convincing, a lot of work to ensure that these people understand the benefits of coming to the Nigerian capital market, so that will create a lot of diversification for investors. A lot of work still needs to be done in terms of awareness.
We keep hearing that narrative of awareness, and it has become very important, like you rightly said. I'm happy you mentioned the fact that we need to see a tech index, because that's the promising part for the country, even the fintechs and the ICT industry, which is a major driver of our economy. We need to see that reflection. When you look currently at the macroeconomic indicators in the country, is it creating that enabler for these businesses to continue to create value, pay out dividends, and boost investor confidence?
Yes, thank you. That is a very critical challenge. And as where we find ourselves in the course of our nation's history, we know the challenges we are going through, and that despite the challenges we are going through, yes, the economy has to be at the front burner. We are seeing how the government is borrowing, doing everything they can to ensure that economic activities are still going. At the same time, they provide that enabling environment. You see government telling you, yes, we have done this to do infrastructure, we have done this to encourage business people, yet the security challenge is a major problem. And even the companies who are currently operating, I can't go and cite any industry somewhere in Zamfara or in Borno State, or even currently in the East. So those who are already operating in the country today are facing these challenges, and it becomes difficult for them to operate, get raw material, process, produce goods or services, sell at affordable rates, make profit, and now begin to pay returns to their providers of finance. It's really a difficult task. That's why we commend the few ones who are operating today. Despite the challenges, they are able to pay some returns to the providers of finance. Now, I'm trying to encourage other SMEs and other companies that we believe are qualified to be listed on the platform. A lot of work still needs to be done. The government has to fix infrastructural problem. One, the government also, with due respect, has to fix security challenges. Because if there is no security, then you cannot have any investment. You cannot have human beings that will make use of this infrastructure. So it is going to be a tall order for the government. And I believe with the political will, and of course, with the cooperation of the citizen, if need be, we can even ask for foreign assistance to take care of security challenges. Then we see that more companies will come to the market, whether local or foreign. They will have a conducive environment to do their business. And once they're able to do that, we will see that it will affect their bottom line. They will produce, sell at affordable rates, make profit, and now begin to pay dividends to the providers of this finance, and of course, even pay tax to the government, and we will see an improvement in our economy. But security has to be taken care of.
Yeah, security has to be taken care of. Mr. Fakrogha, when you look at the performance, of course, Dangote, MTN among the big performers year to date that paid out dividends. But in the public space, an economist said recently that Nigeria, since independence, we've not had a state enterprise liberalized and leveraging the capital market. It's long overdue. Do you see the current efforts, interactions between the NGX and the BP yielding that effort? Because it has been long overdue. I mean, how do you run an economy where your state enterprises are not even leveraging the capital market?
Yes, you are very correct. Even right from independence, we have seen government actions trying to see that some of the state-owned enterprises are run profitably. But we can see that government has no business being in business. That is very obvious. So, yes, the NGX has a role to play as one of the leading exchanges. Not only the NGX, you have other exchanges that can also begin to play that role. But again, onus is on the government. Do they have that political will that they will allow some of their state-owned enterprises to come to the market? Like you have said, NNPC have no choice now because there is an enabling law that will enable them to come to the market and be listed as any other entity. Now, there are other government-owned entities that we believe are not properly run well. And if they come to the market, they will be treated as a private entity to make money for the government. Look at LNG. So look at LNG. Fine, they are doing so well, but we believe that if their shares are also listed, apart from NPC, listed on any of the platform, we will see corporate governance will be taken care of, we will see accountability, and at the end of the day, the state will benefit because they will also have maybe a certain percentage and they will collect their own dividend. But it has to be run profitably. Government can only provide the enabling environment, not getting involved in operations of companies. All over the world, look at other clients. You will see that government provide the enabling environment, even for their state-owned enterprises, and they allow those enterprises to run profitably so that the people there are answerable to the shareholders and not maybe to a government. It takes care of state-owned enterprises, interactions going on, and we believe that with time, apart from NNPC, we will see more of these government-owned enterprises coming to the platform to be listed because there are a lot of benefits.
So with this over 700 billion dividend payouts, Mr. Charles Fakrogha, what would you like to say for the remaining part of the year? Are we going to see this continuous trajectory? What would you like to say to investors? Is it cautious optimism or they should continue to ride with the market?
You have answered it. It's cautious optimism. Cautious optimism because the companies are doing all they can to ensure that they are in business, they produce. Now, there are certain environmental factors which these companies are not in control. And they will do their own. The variables they can control, they do it very well. But the external environment that they cannot control, they just have to put in measures in place so that when those environmental factors begin to impact on them, the impact will not be so much so that at the end of the day, they will still continue profitably and investors will smile. But my advice for investors would be do your homework very well. because the stock market can rebalance your portfolio, take out some stocks that are not doing well, and put in new ones that you believe will meet your own investment objective. So the investors themselves have a role to play to ensure that before the year runs out, they are able to achieve the goals and objectives they have set for their portfolio. So I would say investors should trade cautiously, cautious optimism.
Cautious optimism, you say, and definitely that's the big word to investors. In conclusion, we want to talk about, in 30 seconds, our economic indicators. We look at the inflation rates at 17.01% and our GDP growth rate at 5.01%. How would this shape the markets in terms of the sentiments of investors and even attracting FPIs to the markets?
Okay, thank you very much. If I understand that question very well, somebody have asked me somewhere before that the economic variables that are being out by the NBS, we're talking about the inflation rate that is declining, and of course the GDP growth about over 5%. And I have asked, what does that mean to the average? Yes, the average investor might not be able to see some of the impact right now, but those figures shows that the economy is recovering. And when an economy is recovering, you expect to see like this. Inflation rate is declining, GDP growth is up. Then we have to look at where we're coming from before. Look at what the economy was in 2020 with COVID-19 and what we have seen now. You can see a drastic improvement. So for me, the economy is in the right path. It takes time before it will begin to show the market, and of course the averages. The government will just policies and programs that want masses. Yes, infrastructure is good. Yes, you put in so many, you create a lot of credits through CBN and other financial agencies, but at the same time, you must go that security. Human beings are more important than even those infrastructure you are creating, because without the human element, there will be no infrastructure. So the infrastructure is being put in because of the human element. So those figures, yes, they show economic recovery, and the government should just continue to do what they are doing, improve in terms of transparency, all the projects, then we will see a marked improvement in the overall economy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Fakrogha, Chief Operating Officer, Supra Commercial Trust Limited, for taking out the time to discuss with us the latest year-to-date 2021 dividend payout from quoted companies in the country. Indeed, in terms of what investors should be doing, they should maintain that cautious optimism despite this interesting outcome. And also, economic managers from fiscal to monetary policy have the job to do, and that is to continue to inspire confidence and ensure that all the variables are aligning to support the recovery and create an inclusive economic growth for the nation. Thank you once again, Mr. Charles Fakrogha, for the time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
And that will be all for this edition of the Market Review. If you want to ask a question, make a suggestion, or make further inquiries around the 2021 latest Nigeria Exchange dividend payout reports by companies for investors, send your views, comments, or questions to otobasi.apaseko@proshareng.com. Also, if you want to get further reports, articles, and the latest stories around the capital market, log on to our website, www.proshareng.com, and click on the search bar Capital Market. We just want to let you know that we have the entire capital market ecosystem covered for you, from the equities down to fixed income, also the commodities, and of course the unlisted OTC securities. We have them all captured in our platform. And also, if you want to get further updates on social media, particularly the millennials and the Gen Zs, you can log on, connect to our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Don't forget, this period you need to stay safe. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching and have a nice day.